Hey, everybody, it's Nancy from American Pet Professionals. Happy Tuesday, and welcome to our next episode of Digging into the Pet Industry, where every week we bring you new guests to learn about their drive into the pet industry. And today we're live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube as well, and soon to be on our brand new podcast with the same name, which is super exciting. So, wherever you're watching or listening from, thank you for being here. Today, I am thrilled to bring you our next guest, Sherry Cassin of Meow Mini Mart. Sherry, thank you so much for being here today. Welcome.
Hi, Nancy. How are you? So happy to be here.
I'm so happy you're here, and I love your cat ears.
Can't live
They're-
without
we can't. I wouldn't recognize you without them, to be honest.
they kind of become a fixture on my head, I have to admit.
Right? Yeah, definitely. So, Sherry, here on Digging into the Pet Industry, we dig right in. So, I would love to get started with your career journey because you have a very interesting background outside of the pet industry. So, start wherever you'd like.
Okay, well, I think I was very blessed in that I started on the sales floor of a very hot boutique in Century City in Los Angeles back many decades ago. And that really started me on my retail store background. And I ended up moving to New York City to find my fame and fortune. And I went to work for a company called Capezio, which many people will be familiar with because
Oh,
in those
yeah.
days they had fashion stores
Yeah.
besides the ballet stores. And I became, rose through the ranks, became a supervisor and all that stuff, and then decided that the retail hours were too much. And I went to work for a resident buying office in the fashion industry who, in a sense, does what like you do, Nancy, but for retail clothing and fashion stores. And they tell, who's hot, who's not, what's in, what's out. And after working for that company for many years, I then branched out and opened up my own firm in 1981 and basically had my own consulting company, which I ran for into the middle 80s. I sold it to middle 90s. I sold it to a bigger buying office group and had a really fantastic career. I worked for some of the best stores in the world, like Selfridges and all the top specialty stores here around the U.S. And basically through that whole experience, I also not only did I develop my buying skills, my selling skills, but I also got very involved in product development and put together a whole private label program for our stores.
Wow.
So I have a background in sourcing, development, design, which complements my buying, abilities and my joy of buying. I love to get out with other groups, factors and things that you can things to our customers. So in the meantime, then I decided to go to the other side of the fence, as they say, and I started my own collection with luxury accessories,
For
selling
humans,
Bergdorf.
though, right? The luxury
Yeah,
accessories were for humans?
I'm still in fashion at that point, and
Yeah.
I owned that company for 16 years with a partner, a wonderful partner, and we sold Bergdorf, Saks, Neiman's, really, and then great specialty stores too. And at the end of 16, I ended up saying, there's something about the fashion industry that I think I've been there and done it.
Yeah, that's
And
a long career in the fashion world. Sherry, you and I have talked many times, and you know that I'm like, you need to write a book because you have such incredible experience and the background. I think you could have some fun with background information in the fashion world, and just the
oh
fact
yeah,
that you've created your own lines and all of that, and having all of that knowledge in different areas of owning your own business is really, really quite incredible. So in
thank you.
2016, you had the inkling that you were like, something else is calling my name. What should I do next? What made you want to come into the pet industry and become a pet business owner?
Well, it really started when I left the city, moved to New Jersey, bought a house, and adopted a black cat, my
Mhm.
black cat Laszlo. And he was over. And in the meantime, I did a little consulting work, but I really was like, no, this pet, I'm liking this pet thing, and did some volunteering for a local rescue group, blah blah blah. And anyway, Laszlo had a food allergy. I took a fancy
Mm.
kitty dermatologist. I went down the research rabbit hole, and within about 90 days, I converted him to a raw food diet. And
Wow.
he stopped over grooming. His fur grew back. I mean, he had bald patches on his stomach, on the sides of his body, on his paws. And that was a bell for me. And I, in the sense of, wow, what an experience. And the raw food diet, it cleared it up. There's less poop, no smell. I thought I had like discovered the greatest thing since whatever. So I started sharing it and I started writing a blog. And actually, Laszlo, my black cat, is the face and the voice of the blog. So it's
Okay.
always the cat talking to the pet parent.
Wow.
So
So had you ever written as a cat before?
I did a lot of writing in fashion. We had to do a
Okay.
newsletter every month and stuff like
Yeah,
that. And I
yeah.
love writing. I've always had, I think, nice writing skills. But
Yeah.
anyway, no, and I have to make it a little snarky and funny
Typical cat.
from Laszlo's point of view.
Yeah,
And anyway, and then I started. You asked me how I really knew what I was going to do, and so I was just thoroughly entranced. And I said, you know what? And I love retail. I love retail. I got to get back to retail. And
yeah,
the volunteering that I was doing, and the fundraising, it's hard for the rescue groups. They're so busy trapping and catching and this and that. They can't be organized. And I
yeah,
said, you know what? I can do a better job if I start a store for profit with a purpose, and the purpose being to donate off the top, not the bottom, not of profits, but off the top, just like rent,
yeah,
electricity, your phone bill, whatever,
yeah.
a portion of my sales to give to our local cat rescue groups. And I launched with Cattsbury Park Cat Convention in 2018 with my first boutique offerings, which involved the collars, which I designed with my same little crocheting ladies who used to make my accessories,
Okay.
and also some, great catnip toys and blah, blah, blah. I put together a little shop and I did Cattsbury Park Cat Convention and my brains were blown out of my head.
At the
And,
first that first one. Yep.
and then a month later, I did Jackson Galaxy's Cat Camp in New York City,
And
which is
that's where I met you. Yeah.
with
Yep.
Meow Parlor,
Yeah.
okay, Christina and Simon. And then I knew the minute, because I had such an incredible response to the boutique. It was like, and there's so many wonderful vendors there doing wonderful things, but I was one of the few, or only maybe, that came with an assortment of things. So it was like
Yeah.
a full shop rather than like maybe one classification, one category. So I knew then, I said, this is my new career and this is it. I'm happy.
Amazing.
The cat community is the best. Cats are the best.
I just think it's amazing that you went from the journey of your cat being ill, switching his diet, and starting to really realize that there's a need for this, that, people want to learn more. And you started that. So you were about 2016 to 2018 with the journey with Laszlo and starting to write a blog and all of that. And then you launched Meow Mini Mart in 2018.
Yep, that's correct. At the, as I said, Cattsbury Park in April of 28.
Okay. Yeah,
Yep,
because the next the Jackson Galaxies thing was the next month, right? Wasn't it in May or something at the New Yorker?
exactly.
I'll never forget that because I we've talked about this before, but I could not stop laughing, and not in a bad way, at the incredible cat puns, the talent, the all of the vendors there. Yes, some people were super dressed up. There was a lot of cat
Oh,
influencers there that are super famous. But I remember you, and I remember saying to you, "I love your cat ears," and that's how we met, which is crazy because you're wearing your cat ears now, right? So for anybody that's listening, Sherry has some really pretty shiny, are they metallic cat ears on? And
yes.
I remember looking at what you were selling and everything and just having an absolute blast at that. And I go to all the trade shows, but I never saw that much cat stuff in one spot and just had so much fun. I thought, I'll tell you the truth, Sherry, I thought I was going to go to that for like an hour. I'm like, yeah, I'll go for an hour. I think I was there for like 3 or 4 hours, just cracking up, laughing, getting to know everybody, having so much fun. So for anybody watching or listening that has never been to any of the Cat Con or Jackson Galaxy cat camps, hopefully they'll start to come out more and more again. And you need to go because it's so much fun.
Yep. Anybody on the West Coast, I can say, because maybe they already know too.
Yeah.
The LA Cat Con was just 2 weekends ago, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. A few weekends ago.
charts, amazing. I know a few vendors that were there. I only wish I could pack up my whole shop, but the only way I could do that is drive across the country
Yeah, yeah.
there, you know. But it was, yeah, they're coming back, and it's people need them, people want them, they want to meet, they want to congregate together, the cat
Yeah.
community. And besides, there's all those shows. There's lots of education, information. A lot going on besides just seeing some great vendors. There's good
Yeah,
stuff.
absolutely, definitely. I look forward to when they have even just like a cat show within, a pet expo, but there are far and few between cat vendors at pet expos. I think it's getting better now. So my next question to you was, why do you think cats have been so underrepresented in the pet industry? And before you answer that, think about when the advent of the internet and social media took off, cat videos and cat personalities took over social media, right? It was like the number one thing watched, the crazy cat videos, the funny cat videos. On Twitter back in the day, there was a couple of huge cat personalities on there. I can cheeseburger or something like that. I was actually at a social media conference in New York City, and the guy that ran that account was there. So it just kind of boggles my mind why cats have been misrepresented in your opinion, right? Because that's what you always tell me. So tell me what you think about that.
Well, I think first of all, cats have really the awareness of cats and the awareness of how cool they are and how funny they are. And for a lot of younger, let's say millennials and Gen Z, they view also cats as being easier to adopt and take care of. You don't have to walk them, blah, blah, blah. So
Yeah.
cats, I think, were really moved into the decade of the cat. And we had a lot to do with what happened on social media, no question about it, because cats are the funniest. I'm sorry. I love
Yeah.
dogs too. I had a Yorkie for 16 years who traveled all over the world with me, but just cats take it to another
They're
level.
hilarious.
That's that. And then I think what I get from as a cat owner and from talking to other cat parents, they're frustrated when they go to the stores, Nancy. You go in, it's
Yeah.
80% dogs, and there's, maybe birds, aquatics and birds and reptiles. The cats get something always in the back, in a corner. And it probably, in actually talking to some pet retail people that I know, it's for most stores, it's a 10 or 15% of their business at best.
Yeah.
And it really depends upon the owner of the store. If the owner of the store is very cat centric, then you're going to see more of an assortment. But generally speaking, it's as small as 10%. So
Yeah.
I, I feel I'm a visionary person and I have a really particular taste level. I've just said, I can build a better mousetrap. And so my feeling is I want to, and I've shared this with you, uh, I want to open a retail pet store exclusively for cats, full service,
Yeah.
because just I really feel, and I've talked to a lot of my clients and my customers at the pop-ups, and it's time. It's just time for a focus. And listen, there's bird stores and reptile stores and big
Yeah.
stores. Why not a cat store? And
It's
actually,
so
it's
true. I mean, I was recently just in contact with a bunch of retailers, meeting new people and seeing people local to where I live. And there are not any cats. There's cat cafes, but I have yet to see an actual just for cat store. So I think you're onto something. You better get that going. Find a place and get
oh,
ready to franchise it.
no, I am working on my business plan,
Good.
and I think it is a franchisable idea, actually.
Yeah, 100%.
But nevertheless, got to get the first one going, and and that's been. I'll tell you, it's hard to find good commercial space. Anybody got space out there up here in northern New Jersey?
Yeah, yeah, right? Retailers, anybody or realtors, I should say, anybody watching that may have some help for Sherry here in northern New Jersey. She's looking for a space. I mean, on Long Island, there's plenty of spaces to rent. I don't know what's going on, but why you can't get one. But hopefully that will be something
Yes.
for 2023. I know you've been working on it for a while, and that's
Yeah.
really exciting. So in that, what would you say since you started in 2018? To now has been the biggest hurdle so far with running Meow Mini Mart?
Um, I would say for me, e-commerce is the biggest challenge,
Yeah.
and by that I mean, um, I really truly feel that to grow and scale an e-commerce business today, doesn't matter what business you're in, just the nature of online shopping, it's a discount business at best. And I really feel strongly about that. I've been in this business for, as you know, retail for many, 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 many years. I remember when we used to have semi-annual sales and, and literally, but
Yeah.
today it's a race to the bottom. You can never be the cheapest. You to grow an online business, you have to constantly throw coupons at people. And essentially what we would say in the fashion trade, you have to buy the business. Okay. When I do pop-ups, no one ever asks for a deal, a discount. Do you have a better price? Nothing. They're so
Yeah.
excited to find my shop. They go crazy. They go, "Oh my God, finally there's a cat thing person here, blah, blah, blah." So for me, and that's why I focus totally on my in-person events and my desire to have a store. I'm that merchant. I'm a retail store owner. I think you
Yeah.
said, Nancy, a couple weeks ago, you said you think like a store owner.
Yeah.
And I do, and it's just because then you're there, you're greeting your community, you're helping them, you're addressing their needs, you're having seminar, you're doing, you're just really and .com. I appreciate our .com business, but right now I'm not growing it. It's
Yeah.
all about engagement, kitty culture, some entertainment. Product for us is, if you read our feed, product is there but very quiet,
Yeah.
and it doesn't dominate at all. And
I
we just
I
if you
do
see,
agree with you on that because I feel like there's nothing more than an in-person event, right? Like this past weekend, I was at a in-person event and I met three new people that are new to the pet industry, or people that just haven't been, got to see the products, see, touch, and feel the products, right?
yep,
And of course, we all shop on e-commerce in one way or another. But there's nothing like that going to a pet retail store and having that in-person learning or just seeing stuff that you would have not seen anywhere else. Maybe it's local artisans. We have a store where in my town where I live, they do have some pet products in there, cat and dog. It's not a big spot, but it's all local artisans. It's not like hokey craft stuff. It's really beautifully done stuff. And they're really amazing at curating stuff for across the island here. So it's
yep.
really interesting to me. So, what is it?
Sorry.
Uh-oh, you're ringing. So what is the most important when it comes to you for your customer service, when it comes to your pet business?
The most important thing
Yeah.
that for my customer service, I would say, I would really say, first of all, the customer's number one, two, and three. That's first and foremost. It's my job to make them feel comfortable, to make them feel they can ask me any question. I mean, once I say, "Do you have any issues? You want to ask me for?" I mean, I'm a sort of an ad hoc cat behavioralist, not trained and educated that way, but just through experience having a cat since I was 5 years old. So, but I want them to. I feel I make them feel comfortable. There's no heavy selling in terms of my product speaks for itself. I
Yeah.
don't have to sell it. I might have to explain it. But I think
Yeah.
it's the engagement with them to make them feel like they're walking into a really comfortable space,
Do you have
an environment.
customers come back to, like, wherever your pop-ups are?
Oh, yes. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. I had a lady call me just this morning. She saw me in Fort Lee on Saturday, and she wanted to know when I'd be back in Fort Lee. I said, "I'm doing," Nancy, you're going to love this. "I'm doing the dog costume party, Halloween costume party. I'll be the only cat shop
Smart.
there."
Yeah,
So
it's smart. You'll
excited.
stand out.
So she lives up that way. So I said, "Yeah, come." She said, "I have to come and get some more toys." So,
Yeah. So you've done a wonderful job with your blog, creating a community, all the pop-ups, and your store. I find it really interesting to see that, and being that standout at a dog event, people with dogs have cats too, right? So they may not think of a cat vendor at an event. So anybody that's listening, that's a really good tip. If you could be somewhere where there's not going to be many other vendors like you or pet products like you, I would say go for it because you're definitely stand out. I know I've had that conversation with other types of vendors at different types of events, and they're like, "We were the only pet booth there," so it's really interesting.
just add on to that what you just said. I just got accepted into the Chocolate Expo,
Ooh,
middle November in Edison, New Jersey, and I'm the only cat. There's one dog person, and now I'm the only cat person.
that's
So
really interesting.
crazy off the charts. I just
Cats
can't
don't
wait.
eat carob covered catnip, do they?
No,
I
no,
think
no,
so. Maybe,
no.
caviar covered catnip, but that wouldn't be
Well,
chocolate.
no, well, they eat raw. They like
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
tartare. Let us call it that.
That's too funny. That's interesting. I'll be really interested to hear your report back on that because I think that is just gonna people are gonna be like, "What, cat booth here?" And they're gonna get really interested. You'll probably be one of the busiest booths. You might wanna have some chocolate for the humans, though.
Or something. I don't know.
Maybe you
We'll
can
figure.
get cat-shaped chocolate or funny cat chocolates to sell as well.
Oh, Nancy, that's a great idea. I'm making a note on that right now if I
There
can
you go.
get chocolate. I'm sure they're out there. I know
I'm
there are.
I'm sure,
Please.
definitely.
Yeah, so cute.
So, let me ask you this, what is your favorite thing about being in the pet industry now? Now that you've been here for,
Oh,
about 4 years, 5 years?
yes. Oh, and let me tell you why I didn't do it 10 years before, 20 years before. I
Mm.
wish I would. Um,
It wasn't your time, so now is your time.
yeah. I think what I love about it is not only is it a fun industry, everybody's on the same page. We're
Yeah.
all here for the love of our pets.
Yep.
And we start with that emotional bond. And I think that breaks down a lot of, other feelings that can come in sometimes in businesses and competitiveness or whatever. I mean, I think that we as a pet industry, we're stronger together. The whole concept of collaboration and cooperation and stuff like that. I like that. I like the fact that it's a real community. You go anywhere, you meet, Nancy, you're a dog
Yeah.
owner. You go to meet other dog owners, you start chat about your pets and your dogs, and you take out pictures. I really enjoy that, and I feel in my case I can do a service to the community as well through our blogs because we're very much based on nutrition, health, and safety. So that I feel I'm giving something back. It's a give back. This business is a give back, not only monetarily, but it's about my energy, interest, and time. I love the cat world. I love cats.
Yeah. So how many cats do you have?
I have three, and I have Laszlo, who is my black cat, my muse,
How old is
and
he now?
he's going to be 9 in
Okay.
January, and we call him Big Daddy because he is Big Daddy. He's a big, big black cat with green eyes. And then I have my middle child, my juvenile delinquent, which is Beau, Beau, and he looks like a Russian blue. And he is the funniest, just the funniest. He's always on the prowl for prey and smart and clever and affectionate. Sleeps with me. The only cat I have that sleeps with me every single night.
Wow.
And then 2.5 years ago, a friend of mine passed away and had by having a heart attack, not COVID related. And he willed me. I knew it would happen when the time would come, but I never thought the time would come this soon. But anyway, he willed me his Sphinx cat. So now I am the proud cat mom of a Canadian Sphinx named
Wow.
Bouvier, and he's 5. And that is a trip. That is a trippy breed. Let me
Yeah,
just tell
yeah.
you. First of all, I'm basically about adopt, don't shop. But I don't, I have many good friends that are ethical breeders, and I'm
Yeah.
fine with it all because I'm not here to dictate. But now I have a fancy cat. It's more like a dog. That's the funniest thing. Sphinx cats are kind of like Bengals in that sense. They're more dog-like in their behavior patterns and stuff.
My friend's, boyfriend had a Cornish Rex cat, and
Mhm,
those cats
mhm.
were a trip too. He used
Yep.
to, like, body check himself. He was this little tiny cat, and he would body check himself into the door. Not like a normal cat jump up and, like, wobble the handle of the doorknob to get out. He would literally, like, body check, body check, body check until he heard pop. If the door would pop open, he would come in. I was like,
Oh,
"What is wrong with this cat?" I was like, "Doesn't he know he has paws?" So,
well,
yeah, he was a wild, crazy cat, but and stinky too.
well, Bo, 2 things. Bo knows how to, a pocket door, that
Oh,
slides.
yeah,
Bo
yeah,
knows
yeah.
it's closed. He knows how to tap it with his paw, which makes it move a
Move a
little,
little.
and
Yeah,
then
they're so smart.
paw in there. He's
Yeah.
very, very smart. But stinky cats, if they eat raw, my cat, I put my nose in my cat's fur, and I swear they have a
I
beautiful
think it
kitty
was
purr.
just because of his coat. I don't know what he was it was a long time ago, but I don't know what they're feeding because they have that weird it's not like they're hairless, but they have that, like, curly, like, short coat, so, maybe it was that, but, I think it needed to be bathed more, but bathing a cat's a whole nother story. So let me
Oh,
ask
yeah.
you this. What advice would you give somebody that's thinking about starting in the pet business, starting their own pet business?
Well, I would say, first of all, I'm going to think as a retailer. So I think you need to, I think people who want to open up get into the retail pet store business, okay, whether it's for cats only,
Hmm.
cats, dogs, full service, aquatics, whatever, whatever, whatever. You got to go in with a retail experience. I feel, to really understand how to run a store. So for that, I would be looking to get experience, in a traditional pet store, perhaps, or your neighborhood's pet store,
Yeah.
um, kind of way, and try to gain the experience and and all that kind of stuff, because there's so many moving parts in any retail store. And also you have a lot of responsibility in not only being good to your customers, good to your employees,
Yeah.
you know, knowing how to fix the toilet if it overflows. I mean,
Stuff you wouldn't
no,
think about. Yeah.
the alarm goes off at 3 in the morning. It could be, so there's just, you need to really live the life. In my opinion, you need to live the life under somebody else's dime, if you want to look at it like that, get the experience that way, and then branch out on your own, or start with pop-ups. You have a product, you make great catnip toys, you make cute, I make collars, people make bandanas, whatever. Start doing pop-ups, start gaining traction about buying and selling and creating and selling. And you kind of have to get, it's hard just to pop out of school, let's say,
Right.
um, and say, okay, now I'm going to, you know, do ABC without any. You can have great ideas, but I think it's getting experience
Yeah.
is. I'm successful because I had great teachers. I really did. I worked for some of the best, or had as clients. Either I worked for them when I was working before I started my business, or they were the head merchants of all these fabulous stores that I worked with,
Mm.
and I learned from every single one of them. And so I was blessed that way.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just gonna ask you, since you have that background, what skills and knowledge from the fashion industry do you use daily in your pet business?
Well, from the whole buying and merchandising, you just transferred over from buying sportswear and dresses and shoes and accessories. The concepts of buying are exactly the same. There's
Yeah.
no difference
Hmm.
in anything of that set. So those transfer over really easily. I think product development, because I do have my exclusive collection of crocheted collars, bow ties, and also toys. The product development and production is the same, whether you're making a scarf or you're making a toy, a crocheted mouse toy, or you're making a dress, in the concept of the mechanics of doing it. So pretty much I would say that if I didn't have my previous, many years doing what I did, and enjoying it to the point that I learned and progressed all the time with it,
Yeah.
that has really been my, um, has smoothed my way into the pet industry. Then when I came into pets, I just had to get to know the players and the
Yeah, yeah.
vendors and that kind of thing. So
Yeah. That's awesome. I love that because I think a lot of times I get people that come into the pet industry and, they have stars in their eyes. They're so excited about what their idea is. And they're so worried about, certain things and how to do business and how to run a business. And then I ask them their background and they have a lot of skills already. And I'm like, you're going to be applying so much of what you already know to your business now. And I think people don't always realize that. So I really appreciate you saying that because people don't always think about that and all the experience that they've had in the past, even if it's like you were a medical doctor and now you're dealing with pets. So it's
and I also would like to add, Nancy, just to that on your,
yeah.
and I don't mean to interrupt, but just, the importance and what I've learned, and it's not just because you're sitting here and you're interviewing me, but what I've learned from you and your other clients.
Oh, well, thank you.
And
Yeah, everybody has so much information in our organization. It's crazy.
to me, it's like going and getting your MBA. I swear to God, it
Oh,
really, really is. And, because everyone's very willing to share, help, contribute,
yeah.
comment, whatever. And it's, and I belong to a couple chat rooms and stuff. And I've really learned so much by just reading and observing and learning what's best practice. I really cannot be more grateful.
That's
Truly,
awesome.
truly
Well, thank you.
grateful.
That's a very high compliment. I appreciate that. So, what is the best piece of advice that you have received?
Oh, the best piece of advice. I think it's I would think it's in relationship to wanting to open the store. I've had a couple of people say to me, "Are you sure? Do you know the hours? Do you da 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 da?" Kind of thing. I mean, I
Yeah.
would say, they've suggested to me that I should question myself. you know, is this really, because you gotta know what you're walking into. So I would say that has been, certainly in the last, it was after 2019, walking into 2020, that I knew I wanted the store.
Yeah. Oh,
Because
okay. I didn't realize it was since then.
the success at retail in person so blew my mind away. And then I'd overlook at .com and go, ugh, So no, I would have, if COVID shutdown, lockdown had never happened, I would have already had a store now
Yeah.
for a couple of years, I'm
Well,
sure.
you know what?
So,
Sometimes, as much as we didn't, none of us wanted that to happen, of course. Sometimes that time, that space of learning and growing and getting all additional knowledge before you open your store is a good thing, I think. So,
oh,
because now you've learned so much and that forced you. Imagine if you did have the retail store. You may
I
not
know.
have been deemed essential in the beginning unless you had cat food there, right? To sell
Oh, yeah.
food.
Oh, yeah.
So,
No, no. From the beginning, I would have been full service.
yeah.
I would have been food, litter, the whole
Yeah,
shebang.
but you might have had a few weeks that you were not able to be open, like what happened in the beginning of the pandemic. A lot of retail stores had
Yes.
to, make sure they were okay to be deemed essential. So, anyway, but that could have been, really impactful if you had just opened January 2020 and then you were like, "Oh my gosh." So, I think it's a good thing for you. I think you'll find a space and I'm excited for you to see what you do with your space and I can't wait to come visit once you have a store because I'm not so far away. Um
Thanks.
I have like just a couple more questions and then we're going to wrap this up. So, what is your daily non-negotiable that keeps you grounded as a business owner? Like, what do you do for yourself daily?
You mean business related or not? Is
Not
that
real
a like
No,
not?
not to
I
keep you
I
grounded as a person in a business.
um I would say gardening. I
Okay.
really enjoy being outside when the weather, when I can garden. Of course, that gets
Yes.
impacted in winter months. But I would say gardening, and also I love to cook. I love to cook,
Oh, wow.
and
2 things
so
I didn't know about you. Do you grow catnip in your garden?
I do. Yeah, well, catnip. We're finding more out about catnip. There was a recent article. I forget whose blog it was, but catnip as a plant is also an anti-mosquito. It's a mosquito repellent plant, like citronella.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't know. So that
Interesting.
no, yes, I absolutely plant catnip. I plant it for the feral kitties, basically, more so than for the mosquitoes. Only because if I showed you a picture, my backyard is all ripped up. We just built a brand new fence on both sides, and we're getting ready to lay a new driveway. So my backyard is full of contract stuff. So, but I have my herbs and my tomatoes and my peppers going. So
Nice.
yeah,
Yeah, it's important to do that because I feel like, as business owners, we're so, into our business all the time. And like, I took my dog for a 3-mile walk yesterday because it was Columbus Day and most people were off, but I worked in the morning and then I worked till midnight. And that's not always my schedule, but I'm like, I want to make sure that I get my hike in with the dog. It's so beautiful out. Before you know it,
exactly.
it's going to be freezing. So that is important for people to, really hone in on something that will keep you grounded. And, I think it's important that you do that. Is there anything else about Meow Mini Mart that I did not ask you that you want to share?
Um, Probably not, not really. I mean, I think for me, the whole thing is going to be when I get the store open, they'll have a lot more to share. I mean, we will do, I would love to have the tie-in of a cat cafe, but
Oh, yeah.
getting a lease that comes with a food permit is another whole kit and caboodle kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
It's tricky. So we're going to probably not get the cafe element, but we will definitely be partnering up with our local rescue groups. The group that I, got Laszlo and Bo from, and also we have a total of 7 cat organizations on our giving list, and 1 dog rescue group on our giving list, and
Awesome.
so yeah, exactly. So Yeah.
I love
So
the
I don't know.
profit with a purpose before you even started. That's so amazing. Well, I know a lot of pet businesses are doing that now, but it depends on the scale and all of that. So I think that you started that right away is pretty incredible. So I have one more question for you, and I don't know if you want to share what your t-shirt shows.
Oh, sure. You want to challenge me? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, do it, do it. So for those listening, it's a diagram of a cat or outline of a cat, and it says ballless and flawless.
And the balcony door is right there,
Oh
what they call
God.
the balcony door. And I want to give credit where credit due. It was designed by Adam Mayett, Myatt, and he and his colleague Ann Dunn started America's very first cat cafe in Oakland, California, called Cat Town Cafe. And he
Oh,
designed it, and I met him at Jackson Galaxy's Cat
it's so
in
funny.
18. It's a great T-shirt. I wear it, and I told you I won't wear it on a date, of course, but I don't want to scare
Oh,
anybody.
too funny. Well, now people know where they can get that t-shirt if they like it. I just thought it was hilarious. So I wanted the audience to see it and share. And I think that's important also is to have fun in your pet business, right? We're in the pet industry. Things can get super serious all the time doing your business, but you have to remember to have fun, especially with all the cat puns and all the fun things that you could do with the cat. So Sherry, I thank you so
Yes.
much for being here today and being on our show. Where can people connect with you?
They can connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. They can come and contact us on our own website, www.minimart.com, on our contact details. And,
Isn't it
we
Meow Mini Mart? Yeah, Meow Mini Mart.
yeah, Meow Mini Mart. And yeah, I'm here. I just was talking to customers this morning on the phone who called me. So we're very, very reachable.
Awesome.
So
So we just put the information in the comments so you guys can go check out meowminimart.com. Get on Sherry's email list. She has a fantastic newsletter all about cats. And Sherry, I can't wait to see you open up your store, and I wish you the best of luck with that. And for anybody who's watching and listening, thanks so much for being here today. Until the next Digging into the Pet Industry, we'll see you soon. Bye.